Okay, so you're going to start out by properly lifting and securing the vehicle. So you're going to lift here where you can find the frame rail and then set it down on a jack stand. And I like to leave the jack under there just in case. Next, you're going to remove the lug nuts just by removing these counterclockwise, and they might break off if they have been cross-threaded really badly, so that can happen. So remove the wheel, and now you want to put the car into neutral because we're going to be applying the brakes to do that step, and you don't want to do that later on and have the brakes compress and cause you more work. So you also want to make sure that the vehicle has the wheels chocked so it doesn't roll away. So now we're going to go and remove this caliper. So this is a 19mm socket in this case, and we're removing it on these two bolts here and here where they mount to the knuckle. We've already broken these ones loose so you can see, but I'm going to go ahead and remove both the top one and the bottom one. And as we pull the caliper off, make sure that you set it down so it's not hanging by the wire. So we have a bucket and some other things to set it down on here. Next, to get the brake rotor off, there's a screw here. So you remove that, and then you'll be able to remove the rotor. It just comes off like the tire. So here you can see we've beat this down here, the shroud, so that we have a way for the lug nut to go through and clear it. Otherwise, the stud won't come out. It'll get stopped. So as you can see there, we were able to pop it, and now this is why the car's in neutral, so we can rotate it to the next one if that's the case. And as you pound it, it'll go right out through there. So with that same notched area that we made, we're just going to put our new lug nut stud in, and we're going to put a bolt on here because the lug nut studs, the actual lug nuts are capped on a lot of these, so you're not going to be able to screw them down tight enough. So we're using that nut as a spacer, and now we're driving on the lug nut, and as we tighten it, it'll draw this in. So as you see here, we're tightening it, and it's using that nut there in the middle as a spacer so we don't run out of threads, and you can see it draw it in there really nice. So that's how it draws the new lug nut stud in. And so you'll just remove the lug nut, remove the spacer here that we did, and you'll repeat the process on the rest of them. So once you have them all back in here, you're good to go. We're going to go ahead and put our brake caliper back on and line it up here. And you want to make sure that on this one that you're using Loctite on the bolts. So we're going to go ahead and put a nice little bead of Loctite on here. We're going to line up that caliper again and just screw it back in the way that it came out. So just remember the top and the bottom, and that this is the orientation of the rotor. Next, put the rotor on and then put the little screw back in it to hold it in place. Replace your tire and just line it up. And we're going to tighten this down. Check your owner's manual, but it's usually somewhere in the neighborhood of about 100 foot-pounds for the lug nuts. And so now you have all new lug nuts. So go ahead and lift the van back up, or the car that you're working on, and remove the jack and set it down. And so that's it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was an easy video to follow. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks, guys.